A very good evening and welcome to the knockout playoffs of the Champions League here this evening on Champions League Live on LFS. It's the second legs, and only 8 teams can find their way through to face the 8 already qualified for the round of 16. One already through tonight as Feyenoord held on away in Milan. Both down to 10 in that game, and Feyenoord only needed a draw after they took a 1-goal lead from the first leg, and that is what the Dutch side did earlier this evening. AC Milan, a huge giant of this competition, 7-time winners of this competition, are now out of this competition. Feyenoord will be through to the round of 16. We'll show you who they can possibly face a bit later on, but let's show you what's to come tonight in our 3 8 o'clock kickoffs. Atalanta, they host Club Bruges after losing 2-1 late in Bruges last week. Atalanta have a comeback job on their hands. Benfica take on Monaco in Lisbon. Benfica 1-goal lead from their first leg away in Monaco. And Bayern Munich Celtic is our game here at the Allianz Arena in Munich. Celtic, who are storied history in this competition, European Cup winners back in the 1960s, but Bayern Munich won this competition just 5 years ago. The 6-time winners looking to add another one to their trophy cabinets. Tonight they have a tough task in Celtic here this evening. Celtic, who held them to 2-1 in the first leg. So Bayern with a 1-goal lead, a 2-1 lead heading into this one. Celtic wanting to overcome that to keep their European journey alive. Or will Bayern Munich take one step closer to another final? We will see. Tomorrow night, Dortmund Sporting, Juventus PSV, PSG and Brest, and Real Madrid Manchester City. We'll keep up to date with all of those games while we're watching the Premier League game. But let's have a look at the two teams then, starting for this Champions League game. Bayern start with Manuel Neuer in goal, their goalkeeper. Stanisic, Upamecano, Kim comes back in the back line along with Guerrero in defence. In midfield, Joshua Kimmich alongside Leon Goretzka. Front 3/4 of Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise, Serge Gnabry and Harry Kane leading the line for Bayern. A bit of doubt after the 0-0 draw with Leverkusen whether Kane would start. He is starting this evening. Urbig, Dyer, Davies, Ito, Bowie, Sané, Koeman, Palhinha, Vidovic, Müller, Leimer and Pavlovic all on the Bayern bench. For Brendan Rodgers Celtic, Kasper Schmeichel starts in goal. A back 4 of Alistair Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty and Jeffrey Schlupp in defence. Callum McGregor, the captain, is in midfield alongside Reo Hatate and Arne Engels, and a front 3 of Nicholas Kuhn, Jota and Dyson Maida, who got that lone goal for Celtic at Celtic Park last week. On the bench for Celtic, Sinisalo, Bain, Taylor, Scales, Naroki, Murray and Ralston, McCowan, Bonner, Ida, Yang and Kenny. Bayern have a 2-1 lead. It's advantage to the German side. But here in Bavaria, anything can happen. And anything has happened. Bayern against Celtic in the knockout playoffs. Second leg. Kickoff is next. We are going to get underway very shortly here on Champions League Live, but a moment of remembrance here this evening after that horrible moment in Munich a few days ago when many people tragically lost their lives in an attack on the streets of Munich. We will remember them and they will never be forgotten. Very well received around the Allianz Arena this evening in memory of all of those who lost their lives and all those affected by that attack in Munich a couple of days ago. Now to the football. Bayern against Celtic, as I said, 2-1 aggregate lead for Bayern from the first leg. Can they add to that and put themselves through to the round of 16? Or might they be on the end of a bit of a giant killing here in Munich tonight? We will see. We'll keep you up to date with all of those other games, those 2 other ties back underway. Now remember, extra time and penalties if necessary. Of course, if we are level on aggregate at the end of 90 minutes. We get ready to get underway. Bayern in their away strip this evening of all whites, and Celtic in their away strip of a dark green as we get underway here in Munich, in Bavaria, for what will be a huge game tonight between 2 storied European histories in these 2 clubs, but only one can find their place to the round of 16. We've already seen a European giant be knocked out tonight. Will another one fall in its wake if Celtic can find a way back into this tie? The ball comes all the way back here to Kim. Guerrero linking up with Serge Gnabry. And of course Celtic did make it a real tight affair last week. Looked like Bayern Munich were cruising through with a 2-0 lead into this second leg at home, but Celtic's late goal really upset the apple cart. Give Bayern a little bit to be scared of. Actually could have got a late equaliser, did Celtic, in that one last week. It could have been a good comeback on home turf, but if they're going to have a comeback, it will have to be here tonight against, as I said, 6-time European champions Bayern Munich. Here's Callum McGregor for Celtic, one of their leading men and their captain, of course. Back to Schmeichel. Switches it out for Johnston. Well intercepted by Gnabry, but well covered over by Carter Vickers. Kimmich. Brought down to Kim, who gives it back to Manuel Neuer. And of course tonight it's all about getting through. That's all that matters. That's a lovely ball over the top from Musiala. Guerrero well closed out by Alistair Johnston for Celtic. As Bayern get the throw in, ticking quickly. We're not waiting around early doors here, the home side. They want to give themselves a lead on the night and a 2-goal cushion overall if they can. Here they come, down the right side, ball across the box, Harry Kane couldn't reach it, neither could Musiala. Fair challenge, said the referee. Celtic clear their lines, not convincingly though. Into the box, Gnabry rolls it on for Musiala, can't squeeze it through the myriad of bodies, and Kasper Schmeichel can thump it long and clear a danger. We already have an early goal this evening, and it's not good news if you're an Atalanta fan, because already in Bergamo, Club Brugge have taken the lead on the night. It is Atalanta 0, Club Brugge 1. Shemseddine Talbi with the goal. As Bayern in the box here. Ball trying to squeeze it across. Olise, back post, Gnabry. Couldn't really direct it in. Decent effort from the 2 wingers. See it again here. The switch ball by Joshua Kimmich. Switched out to the right side. Olise brings it into the box, up against Trusty, and just chips it round the back. And Gnabry was sneaking his way through, but it was well defended at the back post by Alistair Johnston, who turned around just in time and dealt with that situation. As I was saying, by the way, Talbi has given Club Brugge the lead in Bergamo, so it is Atalanta 0, Bruges 1 on the night, but Bruges now have a 3-1 aggregate lead. So Atalanta have a lot of work to do. Remember, if Atalanta have to win tonight to guarantee that they don't go out inside 90 minutes, a 1-goal win on the night for Atalanta would level things on aggregate, but they would need to win by 2 goals, two clear goals, if they are to progress inside 90 minutes. But at the moment, it's going the opposite direction. Bruges have a 2-goal lead on aggregate. And And 1-0 there on the Knights. Back here at the Allianz Arena. Kimmich. Back to Kim. Now Guerrero. Back to Kim again. Kim Min-jae. 28-year-old Korean. Back in the squad. At the weekend. Was on the bench last week, but didn't make an appearance. As Olise tried one there from the right side, but that was well wide a goal. No real threat there. Something on the ball. Just kind of something stuck to the ball there. As it was kicked by Michael Olise. It was well wide. Well, of course, for Celtic, it's about trying to keep Bayern at bay for as long as possible. That's a lovely little touch, though, round the corner from Arne Engels. And now Maida in behind, battling with Upamecano, who does very well. Dayot Upamecano. Dyson Maida, tricky little figure, running in behind, and it's a lovely weighted ball by Arne Engels. But Upamecano had his ducks in a row, shall we say, and dealt with that situation pretty comfortably against the Celtic centre forward. Will be a tricky customer tonight, Dyson Maida. As I said, scored that goal in the first leg against Bayern. He actually scored on a good scoring run. Scored in 4 of his last 5 games. Didn't score at the weekend in a 3-0 win over Dundee United. That was his first game in 4 that he hadn't scored. He'd scored in the previous 4 games. Against Bayern, against Wraith Rovers, scored a hat-trick. 2 against Dundee FC and a goal against Motherwell as well. As the break of the ball here, given away cheaply. Shot in the box, over the bar by Callum McGregor. Well over the bar that time, from Celtic's point of view. Got to get a replay of that. It's Olise stepping back into midfield, gives the ball away, and Callum McGregor's charging clear. And as he arrives in the box, he tries that left-footed effort across goal and completely slices it out for a goal kick. And already Celtic starting to show a little bit of threat in behind here at Bayern Munich. Bayern will know it's not be a comfortable night, not be a stroll in the park. It'll be a tough night. Celtic will be a good opposition. Have looked more competitive in the Champions League this year, but have never won in Germany, Celtic. On their 15 previous visits, they have never won in this country. And to be fair, Scotland as a whole didn't do very well in the Euros here last summer. Maybe it is just something between Scotland and Germany as a whole. That's a lovely ball in behind though. Dyson Maida, again marshalled by Upamecano. Kept the ball this time, finds Hatate. Now McGregor gives it wide to Schlupp. Back to Trusty. And across to Carter Vickers. Bayern had a good little spell in the first couple of minutes, but Celtic probably been more comfortable on the ball in the last 2 minutes or so. A couple of those balls in behind and he's popping the ball around a little bit. Here's Jota. Back it comes to McGregor, and now Trusty again. As I was saying about Celtic, just keeping Bayern at bay for as long as possible and trying to cause a threat on the break yourself, of course, but the last thing Celtic need is to concede an early goal, and it'll be a 2-goal advantage for Bayern and maybe a bit of headroom, a bit of comfort for them. It's the last thing they would need, especially if this ground gets going. Can be a real mountain to climb for Celtic if that does become the case. Here is Olise, stepping in field again. Flicks it out wide. Played on to Harry Kane. Kane in the box, goes across goal. Punched in the air by Schmeichel. And not fully cleared by Johnston. Back it comes to Joshua Kimmich. On comes Kim. Now Guerrero. Just keeping the ball moving at the moment, Bayern. That's where they need to be this evening. They need to dominate possession and kind of pen Celtic into their own half. They give Celtic chances, they give Celtic confidence. You know, Celtic are used to winning. They're used to being in winning positions, and if Bayern give them a sniff of that tonight, you know, they might kick into usual gear. And of course, up against very different opposition than they would usually face week to week, Celtic, but this is why they do it. Lovely ball in behind, down the right hand side here. There's Kimmich on the run again. Goretzka has to give it all the way back to Stanisic. Flicked on by Musiala, but couldn't find Harry Kane. And McGregor tries to carry it away for Celtic. 10 minutes gone, 0-0. 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate, of course, this evening. It'll be an easy night for either of these two teams. They've met 5 times before. 4 wins for Bayern and the 1 draw. Of course, last week was the 5th meeting between the two sides. And their 4 previous meetings came in the group stages of the Champions League back in 2003-04 and 2017-18. And Bayern won 3 out of the 4 of those group stage matches. The only game that Celtic picked up anything in was a 0-0 draw at Celtic Park in 2003. Here is Stanisic going for the ball over the top. Harry Kane well stopped by Alistair Johnston, who tried to hold it up for Kasper Schmeichel, but maybe a bit slow to get out there, Kasper Schmeichel. And Harry Kane forcing Johnston to put it out for the throw. Gnabry. Back to Kim, now Upamecano. Back to Kim Min-jae. Gnabry again. All the way back here to Manuel Neuer. Not much urgency from Bayern so far, not in a major hurry to get going and to get forward with any real great kind of urgency at this moment in time. Just passing the ball around, just keeping the ball moving, keeping the rhythm in the game, and as best they can, just get comfortable on the ball. About over 75% of the ball so far of the home side. Here's Upamecano. Gives it out wide to Gnabry, and again gives it back to Kim. Who will give it back to Manuel Neuer. Well, of course, Vincent Kompany doing a pretty good job with Bayern at this minute in time in the Bundesliga. Of course, the expectation that Bayern win the league, and last season, of course, they fell well short of that, finishing 3rd in the end in the Bundesliga last season. But since Vincent Kompany's come in, I think regular service has resumed in a sense. 55 points from 22 league games. They're 8 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. Of course, the reigning champions Bayer Leverkusen are sitting in 2nd, and they're the only 2 in the title race. Of course, Eintracht Frankfurt are the team in 3rd, and they're a good 13 points off Bayern, so there's no real worry. It will be either Munich or Leverkusen that will pick up the title. At the moment, it looks like Bayern Munich are the favourites. Of course, just lost 1 league game this season. The draw with Leverkusen actually was only the 5th time this season that Bayern have actually dropped points in the league. 17 wins out of their 22 league games, 4 draws and 1 defeat this season. Then the best defence in the Bundesliga, 19 goals conceded in the Bundesliga this season. And of course, the highest scorers at 65 goals. That is a good 16 more than Bayer Leverkusen have at this stage of the season. Upamecano to Kim. Nice ball into Musiala. He plays it out wide to the right hand side. Finding Olise, looking for the overlap of Stanisic. Gets the ball in the box. Trusty heads it clear. As Elise tries to retrieve, and he does very well there, Elise, keeping the ball in play. That signing from Crystal Palace of Michael Elise looks a real bargain for Bayern at this moment in time. The player absolutely sensational this season. Scored 5 Champions League goals in his 9 previous appearances. We talk about the Bundesliga, 6 goals so far this season, but not too unprivy to assists as well. He's certainly got a few assists in the Bundesliga. 7 assists and 6 goals, so certainly a good output and good outlet for goals this season is the former Crystal Palace man. 15 gone. Celtic have the ball now. Rare touch of the ball for Celtic. Austin Trusty finding Schlupp, looking for the run of Maida, and behind it might have fallen nicely here for Jota, who gets the better of his man and Stanisic. Jota skipping his way through. Stanisic into the box, back post. Nicholas Kuhn rolls it past the keeper, but off the line. Big chance for Celtic. Still alive as McGregor gives it to Engels. Bodies up the field for Celtic. Nicholas Kuhn on the right side. Squares it across, rolled in behind. Engels gets it across, back post. No, couldn't reach it. Dyson Maida with another chance as Jota retrieves on the left flank. This is a good spell for Celtic. McGregor plays it across to Carter Vickers, who steps forward. Down the right side is Johnston. Back to Kuhn. Kuhn across. Another flick in behind from Atati. This one too much on it. That was 2 huge opportunities. Arne Engels cut across the box as the latest one. Right across the 6-yard box. And Neuer was nowhere to be seen. He was coming across the front post. Absolutely nowhere. And that one couldn't reach Dyson Maida. He was just a little bit behind it as it rolled across the 6-yard box. And in the earlier chance, Nicholas Kuhn, fabulous play down the left side. Jota got the break of the ball past Stanisic, got in behind, jinked inside him, played it across to Nicholas Kuhn, took the touch and tried to roll it past Manuel Neuer, who came committed for it. Missed it, did Neuer, but he had a man on the line to clear his lines. That's 2 huge opportunities for Celtic, both not taken. And will they rue those opportunities? Those are big scares for Bayern so early in this game that they could really need a bit of a wake-up call. And Celtic win it back again, high up. Maida tries to beat the keeper, misses the target. Tried to chip Manuel Neuer. That's another big chance. Upamecano just kind of slips as he tries to clear his lines. Nicholas Kuhn's there to pick the ball up in space, and he plays it to Maida, who takes it first time on the edge of the D, and he tried to chip Manuel Neuer, and he absolutely mishit it well wide of the goal. That is a third opportunity in a matter of moments for Celtic, and not a single one of them taken. Those are massive chances, and in the Champions League you can't be missing chances like that often at all if you want to find your way through, especially against top opposition who can punish you at any given second. Ball all the way back now to Neuer. Thumps it long. And first header won in the midfield there by Celtic as Johnston has it back. Now Engels finding Hatate. He'll swing it out wide here for Jota. That's good play. Jota making the runner behind. Comes Schlupp. Beats off his man, and Schlupp does well in winning Celtic a throw-in down that left-hand side off Stanisic. Of course, obviously former teammates up against each other tonight, and Jeffrey Schlupp and Michael Olise, both former Crystal Palace men. Here is Schlupp to take this Celtic throw. Throws it back to Trusty. Now Carter Vickers as Celtic will build from the back. Johnson finding Engels. Nice little turn. Gets past Goretzka. Gives it back to McGregor. Now across to Trusty. Thumps it down the left flank to Jota. Does well to control it. Trying to burst past Stanisic again, and does so. He's in a foot race here. Still trying to dribble his way past Stanisic. Right to the byline. He cuts it back. Hatate plays it on the Schlupp. Brought it down well on that left flank. McGregor now out wide again to Jota. This is really nice play from Celtic. Really confident play at the minute. And Bayern, maybe a bit too passive. Not aggressive enough so far. Here's Nicholas Kuhn down the right side. Chops on to his left. Finds McGregor. Central is Hatate. Trying to roll his man. And Reo Hatate just overstepped his mark there and gives the ball away cheaply. And now Bayern can try and conjure a counter. As Olise, well, stopped in his tracks there as Celtic got bodies back into shape. Again, a very good spell in these last few minutes for Celtic. Done really well up to this point. Bayern had the early possession, early chances, but Celtic have certainly created the better of the chances so far. Needs must, really. Olise steps in field against Schlupp. Across now to Goretzka. Now out wide to Guerrero. And Bayern on an unbeaten run of 6 games now in all competitions since they lost in this competition to Feyenoord on match day 7 of the league phase. They lost 3-0 in Feyenoord. Santiago Jimenez with 2 and Ueda with a 3rd. Was a real thumping, a real pasting for Vincent Kompany's side. That's their only defeat of 2025. They lost actually late in December in the league. Their only league defeat of the season away to Mainz in a 2-1 defeat on that night. And they were 2-0 down at Jae-Sung Lee with the 2 goals for Mainz before Leroy Sané got a late goal. So not often Bayern suffered defeat. Twice since mid-December for Vincent Kompany's team. That's a nice ball in behind for Harry Kane. Good save from Schmeichel. And Johnston has to put it behind for the corner. That was much better from Bayern Munich. Again, really haven't fed Harry Kane too much so far. And that might have been a late call for a possible offside if that had found the back of the net. But it was really well defended. Good goalkeeping from Kasper Schmeichel to deal with the awkward shot that took a weird deflection. Punched it away, or palmed it away, sorry, as it came off Trusty's left boot. Palmed it away to Schmeichel, and then Alistair Johnston put it behind for the corner. An awkward one for a goalkeeper, but very experiencely dealt with. As Joshua Kimmich takes this corner, we have a goal in one of the other ties in Lisbon this evening between Benfica and AS Monaco. I can tell you about that now because there's a bit of stoppage in this corner. Benfica have taken the lead on the night. Kerem Aktürkoğlu with the goal has given Benfica the lead on the night and a double of their lead on aggregate. 2-0 to Benfica on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. Joshua Kimmich about to take the corner. The referee just inspecting that the ball is over the quadrant as we wait for this first corner of the match. Joshua Kimmich to deliver, right-footed. Across the near post and headed away by Dyson Maeda. Picked up by Gnabry, and the whip ball in by Olise. Almost found a good opportunity at the back post as Guerrero couldn't really control. And it goes behind for a goal kick. Oh, threatening ball by Olise. I think it might have been offside anyway, Rafael Guerrero round the back. Yeah, it was quite clear. It was a real clean connection. I think he might have been offside anyway. Goal kick. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, they've given another corner. They have. Apologies. Corner taken short. Whip ball round the back. That's definitely a goal kick that time from Serge Gnabry. That is a Absolute thumper of a ball, far too deep. Goal kick to Celtic, and it definitely is a goal kick this time, because that was nowhere near hitting anyone. But into the stands, really, from Serge Gnabry, from a long distance as well. As we just see more replays of those earlier chances for Celtic. I mean, will they rue those opportunities? At this minute in time, it really seems like they will, because those are huge chances in a huge game that you need to be taking, especially when you're losing on aggregate. To take a lead in a place like this so early in a game, it really could unsettle the opponent and massively disrupt what would be, if you played this game on paper, an easy night for Bayern. But football isn't played on paper, as Celtic have more or less shown from the first leg, definitely. Jota under pressure in his own defensive area here at the moment. Stanisic trying to close him down, does close him down well, as is forced to clear the ball. Right, Kimmich. Back to Upamecano. Right, Kim. Back to Upamecano again. And with a lot of the possession, a lot of the passes. Again, only 2 shots in the game. Celtic have had 3, of course. We have another goal to tell you about in Bergamo. What is happening to the reigning Europa League champions? Atalanta 2-0 down on the night now. Another goal from Chemstin Talbi, with a second on the night and a 4th on aggregate for Club Brugge. Club Brugge are all but going through to the next round, to the round of 16, and Atalanta, the reigning Europa League winners, look at this minute in time, are on the ropes. Here's Goretzka. Right to Guerrero, back to Leon Goretzka. And a lot of passes in around the area from Bayern. That's a nice defence-splitting pass by Musiala, and Guerrero with a cut-back. Well blocked by Alistair Johnston. It's a nice ball by Musiala. It's kind of opened up the space for Guerrero to break down that left side. Really nicely worked, and Guerrero tried to cut it across into the area, but a real marauder body's in the way. And Alistair Johnston made the clean connection for the corner. Bit more output from Bayern in the last few minutes. Couple of corners. Kimmich with another delivery, right-footed, around the back post this time, punched away by Schmeichel. As Celtic tried to counter there with Nicholas Kuhn. Schlupp does get the ball, finds Nicholas Kuhn, has to come back with it all the way to Kasper Schmeichel. There's one thing about Celtic, I have to be honest, so far tonight, although our very early doors, still only 28 minutes gone, but from what I've seen so far, they're not kind of fearful on the ball. That's a cheap giveaway by Hatate. Trusty not with a great header. Just about dealt with Harry Kane there. Did Austin Trusty. Maida. Schlupp. Hatate back to McGregor. The point I was making, that Celtic really haven't been fearful on the ball, and nor should they be. They're very good on the ball, our Celtic, and they're confident in their passing lanes. They know what each other needs to be doing, and kind of have that team connection, that chemistry within the team, that, you know, no matter where they go, they have confidence in their ability. And there's confidence certainly when they're on the ball tonight. No fear. As Musiala again tries that reverse ball in behind Johnston, but he was quick to that one that time. And Kuhn across, finding Maida. Lays it off to Hatate. Now McGregor. That's better movement from Celtic, dragging the Bayern players into the central areas. Now Jota. Back to McGregor. And the crowd are up. The crowd are singing along, but it's not quite the spectacle so far that they were expecting. But again, that's the expectation of big teams, and it can weigh heavy on a lot of big teams. The expectation of coming here tonight for Bayern and saying, well, you know what, we're going to definitely go through, we're going to be into the next round, we're going to be kind of on our way to another European trophy. You know, that's big pressure for a lot of these players, but it's not they're not capable of dealing with it. But expectation can weigh big. And a lot of those teams, this is why the Champions League's so great, nothing's predictable. Although Serge Gnabry, nice little dribble, edge of the box, Gnabry wants to shoot. Well charged down by Schlupp. Maybe a bit greedy there from Serge Gnabry. Had teammates, had options, but decided to get a bit selfish and go himself, which ended up coming to nothing. And so far, this is the only game of the night without a goal. Not that we haven't had chances to find the back of the net. Celtic certainly have had their ample opportunity. Bruges 2-0 up at Atalanta. Benfica 1-up in Lisbon against Monaco. At the moment it looks like those two teams that are leading in those games will be heading through with their aggregate leads, but a long way to go. Gnabry here. Went a bit deeper and played the ball in between Musiala and Guerrero. Bit of a mix-up initially, but Musiala had the shot from distance. Driven low and hard, but really straight at Kasper Schmeichel. Pretty simple one for him to retrieve. Ball in behind. Oh, another good opportunity from Gnabry there, but again Schmeichel quick to gather before the danger occurred. Jota dispossessed nicely. Bayern maybe upping the temperature a little bit here. Olise. Nice little ball down the left side for Guerrero. Back in feed to Olise again. And wide again to Rafael Guerrero. Musiala now. And find his way through. Nice little 1-2, but Musiala well closed out again by Celtic. And on Engels this time with the challenge. And what do I expect to see from these two sides tonight? Well, so far Bayern have had a lot of the possession, trying to really pass their way through Celtic, but so far the Celtic structure out of possession has looked really resolute and really solid and stubborn so far. That's not the key traits we expect the Celtic to see week on week, but when they're in the Champions League against a European giant, although they are European royalty themselves, Celtic, but very different in terms of on paper quality. But as I said, football isn't played on paper, and Celtic certainly holding their own so far, and some here in Munich, the Allianz Arena. Still 0-0, Bayern 0, Celtic 0 on the nights, but Bayern of course have that 2-1 advantage from the first leg at Celtic Park last week. 2-1 advantage from that first leg, of course. Harry Kane and Michael Olise, the two scorers. Fordyce and Maida kept Celtic in the tie with a late goal. That's a lovely ball in behind. Fordyce and Maida controls it well against Upamecano. Jota flicks it over the top, too far for Hatate. Upamecano can recycle, although he gives it straight back to Celtic with a poor ball forward that time. A goal in Lisbon. Maybe it isn't all clean sweeping for Benfica tonight. Monaco have got themselves back in the tie with an equalising goal on the night. Still not enough, though. It wouldn't be enough for them to get through, but a draw on the night would still see Benfica through. But it is a step in the right direction for AS Monaco. Takumi Minamino, the former Liverpool man, set up by Brelin Bolo to give Monaco the leveller. 1-1, game on there in Lisbon. Of course, we'll show you the potential partners, opponents, for these matchups tonight. Of course, we know that Feyenoord are through against AC Milan, but we will show you who the potential opponents of those teams that are in action tonight will be for the round of 16. Of course, each kind of grouping is paired with 2 round of 16 teams to see who they will face in the next one, and we'll find out who will find who in the next round, of course, on Friday when the draw takes place. Just to clarify what I actually meant by that. So each tie in the knockout playoffs is paired with 2 teams that qualified from automatically for the knockouts. And I'll show you who they will be a little later on this evening. As in a free kick there, given away by Joshua Kimmich. Foul in the midfield there on Jeffrey Schlupp. He kind of contributed to the earlier little shove by Michael Olise, so both getting involved in the action there. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Still 0-0. You'd have to say, so far, despite Bayern having more of the ball, Celtic have looked dangerous. Just not clinical so far, really, Brendan Rodgers' side. It's the only real negative against the visitors so far this evening. The fact that they haven't found the net from the chances they created. That's a nice interception there by Engels, finding Nicholas Kuhn. Down the right side, dribbling through, but run into trouble in Goretzka. Kimmich. Guerrero finding Musiala with his back to his own goal, and he will get the free kick there of Cameron Carter-Vickers, who was pressing. Maybe pressed a little bit too much on the young German. Of course, Jamal Musiala, who lit it up in the Euros, actually, in that opening game against Scotland for Germany, had a field day that day. Did Jamal Musiala in that 5-1 victory for Germany back in the opening game of the Euros that were held in this country. Maybe a Euros to remember for him, in the fact that he had such a great Euros, but maybe wanted to want to go further with his country in the competition in their home Euros. This is a nice play down the right side here. Elise cuts it back, Stanisic in the box, dribbling his way through. The follow-up is hit wide by Joshua Kimmich. That's the best chance that Bayern have created all night. Again, really nice work down the right-hand side. Finding Olise. Olise cuts it back into the box. Stanisic trying to dribble his way through Celtic players, and then ends up playing the ball across to Joshua Kimmich, who hits the shot first time, but curls it wide of the right post with his left boot. Quite convincingly wide, that. Very good opportunity for Bayern. As I said, probably their best of the night. Johnston. His ball to Kuhn was well intercepted. Here's Gnabry. Down the right side comes Stanisic, rolls it in behind. Musiala in the box, trying to dribble his way through, gets it across, but well defended by Cameron Carter-Vickers against Harry Kane. And a corner will come. And that was better. Good run by Stanisic again, creating the problems, creating the issues. For that Joshua Kimmich chance. Another chance not taken. Will be a corner to Bayern though from this latest moment. Joshua Kimmich, another delivery for him. This time on the right side, right-footed, out swinger, up in the air it goes, away by Schlupp, followed away by Nicholas Kuhn, but Michael Olise will make sure it's all mopped up. Back to Stanisic. Spreads it wide to Kimmich. Kimmich up against McGregor. Well, blocked by the Scotsman. And Joshua Kimmich will get a throw in for Bayern on the right side. Kim. Neuer. Ooh, Neuer's distribution there. That was actually good adjustment from Guerrero. Was blocked off by Nicholas Kuhn, but got his head in there. Long neck, Rafael Guerrero. Here's Olise through the lines. Musiala trying to force it through, but to no one and to no avail, as it comes all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Maida just trying to hold on to the ball, does well. Dyson Maida, but there's Gnabry, ends up winning the foul off the Japanese man. And a free kick to Bayern. 5 minutes of the first half to go. This first half flew by. Despite the big no goals, been a happening first half. There's been a lot happening. Chances at both ends. Nothing finding either the back of either net so far. As I said, the only time Celtic got a positive result out of Bayern in their previous meetings was a 0-0 draw. They said November 2003. And of course the great Henrik Larsson was in the Celtic lineup that day, along with the likes of Chris Sutton, John Hartson, Stilian Petrov as well. Neil Lennon, of course, a real Celtic legend as well. Lots of Celtic legends in that side that day that got the draw out of Bayern in that group stage game at Celtic Park. Bayern have won both meetings previously between the sides here in Munich. 2-1 and 3-0. 2-1 in September 2003 and 3-0 in October 2017. And 3-0 team. Joshua Kimmich started that game, scored in that game. And actually, if you look at it, he is the only player in the starting 11 tonight that started that last win over Celtic here in Munich a good 8 years ago. Ball into the box there from Kuhn. Too high for anyone in there. Easily gathered and brought down by Manuel Neuer. It shows his longevity at this football club for Joshua Kimmich. The fact that he started and scored in that game. Thomas Müller and Mats Hummels both scored as well in the 3-0 victory. Pressure on Bayern at the back here, put on by Hatate. Nicely played out of that pressure. Although that's not a good ball, given away cheaply there. And now Hatate across the box, couldn't find Maida. Just a little bit behind him. Couldn't find that link up there. Again, sometimes I have to say, when Celtic do apply a little bit of a press, Bayern do look a bit uncomfortable when they're being pressured. They do deal with it this time well. Olise down the right side against Schlupp, his former teammate of course. Olise can't get past McGregor. That's the turn back to Goretzka. Gnabry down the left side. Sorry, comes Rafael Guerrero. Back again infield to Gnabry. Now Upamecano. Olise. Upamecano again. Well, Bayern have played 20 games against Scottish teams in the Champions League. They've won 11 of those 20 games, 6 draws and 3 defeats, but they are unbeaten at home against Scottish sides in those 9 previous meetings with Scottish teams here at the Allianz Arena. That's 6 wins and 3 draws, but anything other than a defeat would be enough for Bayern tonight. Oh, Harry Kane's hit the bar. That's a lovely ball across from the right side, and Kane in his usual shooting opportunity and usual shooting position. Here they come again, though. Might get another chance. Well blocked at the front post. McGregor, though, sloppy on the ball. Gives it away. Olise will hit one over the bar. Gotta see that Harry Kane chance again. Great ball by Stanisic, drilled across the 18-yard box, right onto the penalty spot, just slightly behind the penalty spot. A usual shooting position for Harry Kane. You expect the net to bulge, and he just bangs it off the crossbar. Another big opportunity not taken. Is this going to be a game where many opportunities are created, but not a single one of them are taken, especially in this first half? That's been the case. And that is why we do not have a single minute of additional time. 45 up and 45 done and dusted, really. Here in Munich, it is half-time. Nothing between the sides in the first 45 minutes. Despite that, both sides have had major chances to score and find the back of the net. Harry Kane's the latest of them, quite a few. Celtic had a couple, Bayern had a couple, but neither could find the back of the nets in the first half. Half-time in Munich in the Allianz Arena. It is Bayern 0, Celtic 0. Bayern 2-1 up on aggregates. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Half-time in Munich. Bayern 0, Celtic 0. At the break, Bayern, of course, leading by 2-1 on aggregate. We have another goal to tell you about, because it's still going in the first half, so those other two games, because we didn't have a single minute of added time. As rare as it is in football now, there wasn't a single minute of added time in that first half. We have another goal in Bergamo, and again, it's going from bad to worse. I remember last season in the Europa League, Atalanta went to Anfield and thumped Liverpool, who were the favourites to win the competition, and won the European trophy. Tonight, they're getting wiped the floor with like they did against Liverpool last season. It is 3-0 to Club Brugge, and a mini miracle is needed if Atalanta are going to find any way of progressing to the round of 16. 3-0 to Bruges. Ferran Jutgla with the third goal of the half. In additional time, it is 5-1 to Club Brugge on aggregate, 3-0 on the night. It is an absolute pasting for Atalanta to face tonight. They lost narrowly in that first leg, remember. They were drawing 1-1 right until the late stages when Gustav Nilsson's penalty won it for Club Brugge. And it looks like it's given them the real boost that they might just need, because they are leading 5-1 on aggregate, 3-0 on the night. They drew at the weekend in the Belgian League. They drew away from home, but they've left it all out there in those two Champions League games, either side of that league game, because they are cruising their way to the round of 16. It's just gone half-time in the two other games, by the way, as well. Atalanta 0, Bruges 3, as I said. And Benfica, Monaco is still 1-1 at this moment in time. So very little to separate the two sides there. But Benfica, as it stands, would still be going through on aggregate because they lead by 2-1 on aggregate after a 1-0 win in the first leg. But that's all circumstantial at the moment because there's nothing decided on what will happen in those games just yet. But there is a confirmation that Feyenoord are the first team to progress from the knockout playoffs after their 1-1 draw away at AC Milan earlier this evening. Winning on aggregate by 2-1. A narrow win, but it all counts, it all matters. They won 1-0 in the first leg, Feyenoord. Igor Passau with the goal in the first leg in the Netherlands, but they returned to Milan tonight, and actually at one point it looked like Milan were ready to really put them to the floor this evening. Santiago Jimenez in the first minute give AC Milan the lead, but two Theo Hernandez yellow cards really turned the tables in the game. The first for a silly foul and the second for simulation in the box. So a second yellow for Theo Hernandez. Julian Carranza got the leveller, and crucially the all-important goal that sent Feyenoord through to the round of 16. They did go down to 10 in the 97th minute at Feyenoord. Guevaro Reid was sent off, so he will not play in that round of 16 tie, whoever they face, but they certainly fought their way to the round of 16. Feyenoord, a big club in the Netherlands, and they're getting their just rewards. Of course, another Dutch club involved tomorrow night, PSV Eindhoven. We watch them go to another Italian side as they host Juventus tomorrow night. We'll see and talk about that a little later on. So it is 1-1. It finished there, and Feyenoord through on aggregate, and all the rest here, as you can see, as it stands. Right. Let's have a look and see who these teams could face then, because of course we already know that there's 8 teams through to the knockout, to the round of 16, after they got into the top 8 of the league phase of this season's Champions League, of course, if we all remember, of course. Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Inter, Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, Lille and Aston Villa are the 8 teams that are already through. Feyenoord have joined them this evening, but will be on a different side of the draw than those teams. Of course, those 8 teams that qualified in the top 8 of the league phase are seeded teams, so they will all have the second legs of their ties at home. Feyenoord, of course, will be at home in their first leg. But let's see who they can face then. These are the matchups that are possible. So the winners of our game tonight, Bayern or Celtic, will face either Bayer Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid. Now, of course, they will be at home the first legs, but Celtic will be used to that after being the unseeded side from this round of games. So the winner of Bayern Munich or Celtic will face either Bayer Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid. That will be an absolute corker. If Munich face Leverkusen, that will be fabulous. A real Bundesliga battle there. But any sort of matchup will be fantastic in the Champions League. As we know now, AC Milan, Feyenoord, we'll get to that in a moment. Atalanta Bruges. So it looks like Club Bruges are cruising their way through. You never know, anything can change. But Club Bruges look the likelier of the two teams. I wouldn't have said that at the start of the when the draw was made, but Club Bruges have certainly held their own and more. So Lille or Aston Villa will be the possible opponents of the winners of that tie. Benfica Monaco will either face Barcelona or Liverpool, and AC Milan or Feyenoord, obviously not AC Milan anymore, Feyenoord will face either Inter Milan or Arsenal. I mean, what a way to be treated. After beating AC Milan, you could possibly face their Milan rivals, or you could face the second best team in the Premier League. But that is what the Champions League is all about at this moment in time. 2 of the top teams in Europe, and they will be facing Feyenoord. One of those 2 teams will be facing Feyenoord in the round of 16. So we know that for certain Feyenoord are through, and we'll see what the other matchups are. But those are the potential opponents, which I thought was quite intriguing to look at before tonight. And we will tell you what those teams' personal matchups are. Could be for tomorrow night's games. Tomorrow night for you: Borussia Dortmund Sporting, PSV Eindhoven Juventus, PSG and Stade Brest in an all French tie, and Madrid against Man City. Madrid 3-2 leaders from the first leg from the Etihad. An incredible result for Real Madrid. We commentated on that game last week. It was an absolute blockbuster in Manchester last week. Looking forward to the second leg. We'll have coverage, we'll have updates from all of those second leg games tomorrow night when we watch Aston Villa take on Liverpool in the Premier League. 2 sides who are already through to the round of 16 of this competition, and we'll see of course, who wins that one tomorrow night between Aston Villa and Liverpool in the Premier League, because Liverpool's still continuing to go for the title. Right, so that's the way it stands already, but let's really recap this first half here in Munich, because a big first half, really. I think a confident and quite controlled first half from Celtic, if we want to talk about the possible comeback, because, you know, coming here against a really good opponent, the best team in Germany at this moment in time, of course, in terms of their league position and how they're playing. Bayern have had an incredible Champions League campaign up to this point, but Celtic are being a real thorn in the side of Bayern. Albeit, if it stays like it is, Bayern will be going through. But Celtic are not letting them cruise in this game. They're giving them kind of questions to answer, and at the minute, Bayern are getting away with it quite slightly. I think they've missed a couple of good opportunities themselves, Bayern. Let's not forget that. But at the same time, it's not been all plain sailing for Bayern at this moment. And it's not that they've been unaccustomed to defeat in the Champions League. They did lose 3 of their league phase games. Of course, as I mentioned, that Feyenoord game that they lost in Feyenoord in January and match day 7. They also lost as well in the Champions League early in the campaigns. Aston Villa, of course, we remember that one, and away in Barcelona. So some big away defeats for Bayern in the Champions League this season. But tonight is a home game, as we know, obviously, for the second leg of this knockout playoff. And at the moment, I don't think Bayern have been that good, in a sense. I think they've had some good shots. They've held a lot of possession, and they've had some 1 or 2 good opportunities going forward. But it's not like they've really come out and commanded this game and said, we're here to go through, we've got you on the ropes kind of thing. You know, we don't care, we're here to pick up business. It seems a little bit that Bayern have come here a little bit, not nervous, but a little bit apprehensive in the fact that they haven't really come out and commanded this game or dominated like we expect them to. And in turn, Celtic have looked really impressive themselves at times, out of possession, but also when they get on the ball and when they get on the break, Celtic look really impressive in the sense that they're using their quality, they're using their pace, they're using their quality in the front areas to carry the ball forward, to use their pace to counter-attack. And at the minute, it is causing Bayern problems. You know, Celtic very easily could have been leading in this first half, and that's not kind of an overstate on where Celtic are, kind of getting overexcited. They genuinely had 2 or 3 really good goal-scoring chances, and they just couldn't finish them. And 2 of them, they completely miscued and really didn't do well from. And there was one where, you know, Manuel Neuer kind of got helped out with the fact that, in a sense, he had a man on his line, but he was beaten, you know. But a goal line clearance from Bayern denied Celtic. But Bayern themselves have been hit the woodwork, hit one wide with Joshua Kimmich, so they've not had it all their own way either in front of goal. Fairly comprehensive so far, but that's what keeps it exciting. The game could go either way between Bayern and Celtic, and that's what makes it so entertaining. 0-0 at the moment, and we'll be back for the second half. That's come very quickly. The second half between Bayern and Celtic, where it is Bayern who lead 2-1 on aggregate. It's on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Second half between Bayern and Celtic on the way, and some big substitution news to tell you about. very shortly. Let's not forget, though, the round of 16, quarterfinal and semi-final draws. So the rest of the draws of the competition will be done on Friday afternoon, Friday 21st of February. That is this Friday. Looking forward to that, to see who will face who in the round of 16, and then the path to the final to here in Munich will be decided and will be laid out for all of the teams remaining in the competition. We'll find that out on Friday, and the round of 16 starts on the 4th of March, which is just a few weeks away, so not too far away, a couple of weeks away, the 4th and 5th, and the 11th and 12th of March for the round of 16 games. Looking forward to that. Right, but we're not finished with the knockout playoff action yet, and I told you with some big news for you. Well, here it is. Harry Kane is out. Harry Kane's coming out of the out of the Bayern team. Obviously, he is leaving at this minute in time. We don't know exactly why. We believe it's a knock from what we've heard, because he was doubtful before the game, Harry Kane, about possibly starting tonight, and of course did start, but now not able to continue is what we're hearing, and he will be replaced by Kingsley Coman at half-time is what we're hearing. So we will get that detail for you once we get back on the way. We are a bit delayed for the second half starting at this minute in time, so we do have the second half coming for you. Don't worry, it will be on the way in just a moment. But it is a big difference. You know, Harry Kane, although he missed a big chance in that first half, but there's no doubting the fact that he is a major difference maker for this Bayern team, and that you can't really kind of make it a difference, or kind of bring a substitute as a sense to a striker like him, to a clinical striker like him. He missed his big chance in the game, and it ends up seemingly being his only big chance of the game for Harry Kane to try and find the net to change the game. And there's no real straight swap for Harry Kane in this team. But Bayern will have to figure it out in the second half. If you want to know what's kept us waiting, it's Celtic. It's not often that Scottish teams are left waiting very long, but they've kept us waiting here. They want to soak in every little second that they have here in Munich tonight. There's not many big European nights for Celtic over the years, or certainly in recent years, for them in big stadiums like this, and they're making the most of it tonight. But they're not here just to make up the numbers. Certainly that first half performance showed us that they're certainly in this, and they can find a way back into this tie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated, and we thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight here this evening. Right, so no goals in the first half, and Bayern, as it stands, would still be going through to the round of 16. But there's still a good 45 minutes of action still to come, at least, remember, if we are level on aggregate after the 90 minutes. Extra time and penalties might be needed to separate these two teams. There's Julian Nagelsmann, the Germany head coach, watching on in the stands, the former Bayern head coach, of course. He's watching on as we get back underway then here at the Allianz Arena. It is 0-0 on the night, but Bayern lead 2-1 on aggregate. Can Celtic be more clinical in the second half to try and change that? Or can Bayern be more clinical in the second half to try and change that? Here's Jota with the first chance of the half. Down the left side. Tips it into the box. On the turn was Hatate. Dribbling. Hatate couldn't get the shot off. Falls to Carter Vickers. Hatate still down, but Celtic are not going to play on now. There is an issue. It's actually Upamecano, I think, that's gone down here in the box for Bayern. A little collision. And he is back to his feet. Had to stop the game momentarily there. That was a early start for Celtic. Jota with a nice ball down the left and chipped it into the box. And Reo Hatate trying to get the shot off. Tracked all the way by Stanisic. And ended up running into Upamecano, who cleared the ball away from danger. And that's so important for Celtic in this second half, where they have to find a big chance, and they have to take it. You know, as I said multiple times, they had the chances the first half to score. And this is a big chance running behind. First real chance for Bayern. Good save by Schmeichel. Trying to see who it was. It was Leon Goretzka who had the shot. Really clean run through. First real time I've actually seen a Bayern player run straight through the Celtic defence. And it was really nicely worked. But a fabulous save by Kasper Schmeichel. And a necessary save from the Celtic goalkeeper, who knew coming into tonight that he would need to make big saves in big moments. And there's a big save early in this second half for Kasper Schmeichel. So early chances for both sides at the start of the second half. Of course, a reminder for you, Kingsley Coman has come on to replace Harry Kane, which is a bitter blow for Vincent Kompany's team. Here's Olise. Lovely roll through. Gnabry couldn't get the pass off. Finds Stanisic though. Now Gnabry again, whips it in. Well blocked by Schlupp. Gnabry. Musiala. Kimmich gives it out wide now. Goretzka. To Guerrero. Back to Goretzka. Better movement from Bayern. A bit more movement up front as well. Chip ball into the box from Kingsley Coman. Headed away and cleared away by Alistair Johnston. That was better from Bayern. They were a bit lethargic in that first half. I did say a couple of times that Bayern were a bit slow to get the ball forward, and they were just allowing Celtic to get back into shape. Whereas there seems to be a little bit more energy so far at the start of the second half in the way they play. A little bit more movement as Coman chips one into the box, headed away by Hattati. Might have tried to get on the turn, but well blocked. Kimmich switching it out to the right side. Olise brings it down. Nice Stanisic. Back to Joshua Kimmich. Now out wide to Michael Olise again. Chops onto his left. Olise trying to curl it. Get it too far wide from Michael Olise. It was a nice idea. You could see it all day long. What he was trying to do. He just couldn't get the technique right. And the execution. This is the Goretzka chance again. Really nice run in behind the Celtic defence and left-footed shot. Well smothered by Kasper Schmeichel, who made himself as big as possible. And an experienced goalkeeper like Kasper Schmeichel knows exactly what to do in those types of positions. Goal in Bergamo, by the way, for you. Hold on a second. Ooh. Manuel Neuer playing that ball to Upamecano. Bit of a dangerous one. Oh, Jota couldn't get the end of it. Goal kick. Ultimately, as I said, goal in Bergamo. It's not gone worse for Atalanta. It's actually got a little bit better. A little less worse, shall we say. They've got one back. Ademola Lookman, who scored that hat-trick in the Europa League final for Atalanta. He's got one back tonight. Could they come back beyond? It's a pretty late comeback if they're going to have it. There's still 3 goals down in aggregate. 5-2 in aggregate it remains. So it is still a long way back for Atalanta, but a step in the right direction for them at the start of the second half. Here is Schlupp. Again, another cheap ball given away there by Bayern. McGregor to Jota down the left side, lifting over the top for his captain, who heads it on. Couldn't find Schlupp. It was well dealt with back there by Stanisic. And now the run on here for Olise. Trying to cruise it through to Coman, well blocked by Trusty. Lovely little touches from Nicholas Kuhn in field. Keep Celtic in possession. Kuhn. Back to Trusty. Now across to McGregor. Into Jota. He hit it straight at Jamal Musiala. And Goretzka's ball will go all the way back to Manuel Neuer. Bayern's last knockout tie against the Scottish club was a 7-3 aggregate success over Aberdeen in the 2007-8 UEFA Cup round at 32. They drew 2-2 away at Aberdeen and won 5-1 at home. That made their record of two-legged ties, 1-4, lost 2, with wins in the last 4, of course, for Bayern. And their first game, actually, against Scottish opponents Bayern, was a 1-0 defeat to Rangers in the 1967 Europa Cup Winners' Cup final in Nuremberg. Quite interestingly. Olise down the right side. Stanisic tried to cross it, well blocked again by Hatate, getting back in there for Celtic. A lot more defending for Celtic to do so far in this second half. Bayern with not a purple patch, a green patch, shall we say. They're on the road to purple, shall we say. They're in good stead at this early stage of the second half. Certainly had a lot of the ball, 76% of the possession. And they had 65% in the whole of the first half, so maybe growing on the possession that they've had so far. Coman back to Upamecano. Kimmich. Kim down the left to Guerrero. Back to Kim Min-jae. Deo Upamecano. Through the lines to Musiala. Trying to go more vertical with the play. Bayern, but Celtic again intercepting, and Hatate with a nice flick. Maida up in the air. But a well-controlled header by Leon Goretzka. Just brings it back into Bayern possession. Musiala. Down the right for Olise. Chops infield, Schlupp. Lovely little give and go. Musiala trying to backheel it. Well blocked by McGregor, who tracked them all the way. It was great work by Olise, absolutely skinning his former teammate. And Jeffrey Schlupp had no chance. Lovely little hit, kind of flick. And then the nice ball in behind. It was good defending by Callum McGregor. That's where Celtic have done well so far tonight in the one-on-one battles. That's nice work from Olise though. Plays it in behind for Kingsley Coman. All the way back to Goretzka. Not given the time to shoot by Maida, who was tracking back. Keeps the ball though. Olise. Around the corner to Goretzka. Back to Michael Olise. And again, jink inside his former teammate and Schlupp. But Schlupp got him away that time. Only as far as Stanisic. Back with Olise. He will switch it across to Joshua Kimmich. Dispossessed in there. Kimmich by Carter Vickers. Well, it's all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Celtic, there was an outright there. They could get out of the Bayern press. Johnston a bit behind his teammate and Engels. Given away now. Here's Musiala. Into the box he comes. Musiala trying to find a pass. Has to cut it back. Joshua Kimmich will switch it around the back. Stanisic across. Completely miscued it. Completely miscued it. Josip Stanisic. Big chance. Nice ball by Joshua Kimmich. You think he's going to try and deliver it in first time. But he actually tried to chip it around the back. And Stanisic can try and play it across the 6-yard box. And Stanisic gets his kind of control all wrong. And gets nothing out of that. Another goal. And a huge goal in Lisbon. Monaco have taken the lead on the night, which means it is level on aggregate. Benfica's 1-goal advantage from the first leg now chalked off, now kind of eradicated by the fact that Monaco are winning 2-1 in Lisbon. Big goal. Elise Ben Seguir with the second goal for Monaco tonight. It is 2-2 on aggregate there. 2-1 to Monaco on the night. That is a incredibly close tie and a big goal for the French side, looking to keep their place in the competition. Still, we remain the only game without a goal, and these two teams are the only two teams without a goal now tonight. in our Champions League games. That makes it ever more important that a goal is scored. The longer it is 0-0, the more pressure, the more tension, more hype there will be, and angst. The longer Celtic keep this tie alive at 0-0, the more nervous not only the Bayern players will get, but the fans certainly will. Maybe they can nick a late goal, Celtic, and maybe take this game a little longer. They certainly have had the opportunities to take the lead tonight on the night, Celtic. That's a loose ball given away. Maida with a lovely press. Now out wide here comes to Jota. Jota trying to dribble his way through again. Lovely little skill. Rolls it, but straight to a Bayern defender in Upamecano. But he gives it away to Engels. He's brought down, but the referee says no foul. As Bayern want to break away here. Might be a 2-on-1. Stanisic, he's got Michael Olise on his own. Stanisic chops inside McGregor. Tries to fizz it round the back. Brought down by Coman in the box. Takes on Johnston. Coman not given the chance to cut it back, as Carter Vickers got in the way of that one. As Celtic try and come away with the ball. Hatate. Again, it's commanding defending. Confident defending from Celtic. Not complete freedom though, as Bayern have it back again. Another goal in Bergamo. It is edging closer. That comeback is on in Bergamo tonight. It is now 3-2. Atalanta have got another one back. They've just scored it, so we will wait on confirmation from VAR. But at the moment, it is Atalanta 2, Club Brugge 3 on the night. But still, Bruges lead 5-3 on aggregate over the two legs. Still all to play for, but still a bit to go for Atalanta if they are to come back in this one. But again, as I said, they're edging ever closer in the right direction. Upamecano. Nice ball down the right-hand side for Olise. Olise again steps in, fields Schlupp, but Schlupp was there to battle. Ends up on the floor, Jeffrey Schlupp, as Olise comes away with the ball. He wanted the free kick there, Jeffrey Schlupp, and I think he might have had a good claim for it, but the referee reluctant. We actually only had our first free kick of the game after 36 minutes in the first half. Was that pretty weak and dribbling effort from Jamal Musiala. Does as it says on the tin and dribbles wide. See this other chance for Kingsley Coman a bit earlier. Fabulous block by Alistair Johnston. And then of course Carter Vickers clearing his lines. The defending so far tonight from Celtic has been absolutely immense at times. Absolutely immense. As they're going to make a substitution here. Celtic. Jota's going to make way. Not full fitness, full match sharpness. After returning from Saudi Arabia, of course. The hero. Jota down the wing, as the Celtic fans sing. He is now off, and Adam Ida, the Ireland international, is now on at centre forward. So I think Daizen Maida will come to the left where Jota was playing, and Adam Ida will play through the middle for the remainder of this game then. Some real firepower as we hit the hour mark here for Celtic. Some extra firepower. Kim, nice work on the turn there, got out of danger. Guerrero, Musiala, as the 60-minute mark has passed. Bayern 0, Celtic 0, Bayern 2-1 up on aggregate. All still to play for here this evening at the Allianz Arena. By the way, that second Atalanta goal was disallowed, so I did say VAR might have their say, and yes they did. It was disallowed, so not a goal for Atalanta. Still 3-1 to Bruges, which means it's still 5-2 on aggregate for the visitors on the in that game tonight. Still a little bit more room for the Belgian side at this moment in time. McGregor. Trusty back to Carter Vickers. And Johnston on the right side, finding Kuhn. Back in field to Johnston again. Squeezes it through that little press. Finding Arne Engels, who gives it back to Alistair Johnston. And back to Cameron Carter Vickers. Decent play from Celtic in their own half. Again, just calmness, composure on the ball, and that air of confidence about them. They don't feel too pressured. Ingles did squeeze that ball out wide to Kuhn, and the run over the top for Almeida, who was just kind of held on to there by Upamecano. Just long enough that Manuel Neuer could come and grab the ball. That will be the threat that Celtic will now pose. Those runs in behind from Almeida. Certainly a more physical presence up front for Celtic. Upamecano across now to Kim. Now out wide it goes to Guerrero. Olise arriving into the box. Michael Olise straight at the goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, it would have had to be a great strike. It's kind of just a side-footed effort right at the goalkeeper. Certainly had to be a pearler to beat Kasper Schmeichel from that sort of position, and it certainly wasn't pretty simple enough one to deal with from the Celtic goalkeeper's point of view. Maida still chasing every ball down. Does get to that one. Can't quite through. Oh, it's fallen for Nicholas Kuhn. Celtic take the lead. Incredible. I told you they could nick a goal. They had chances in the first half they didn't take, but they took their biggest chance of the second half, and Celtic might be seeing a European dream alive in Munich. Nicholas Kuhn with a big goal. Celtic lead on the night, and it's level on aggregates. Huge, huge, huge goal for Brendan Rodgers' team. Again, sloppy from Bayern at the back. They have been sloppy in moments tonight, and they give it away cheaply. And I said Dyson Maida, he chases every ball down, and he's done it again. He gets just there in time ahead of Guerrero. The really poor challenge by Kim, trying to get across to block it away from Nicholas Kuhn. Gets the break of the ball, and he just rolls it past Manuel Neuer, who could do very little about it from that sort of position. Big goal, a huge goal, and as I said, that European dream for Celtic might not be a dream no longer, and it might be getting ever closer to reality. Bayern 0, Celtic 1, 2-2 on aggregates. Wow. Just wow. And just as that happens, Bayern are bringing on a few changes. They made a change at half-time, a bit unforced. But Leroy Sané and Alphonso Davies are on for the final 25 minutes or so to try and tick this back in Bayern's favour. They have replaced Serge Gnabry and Rafael Guerrero. So straight changes down that left-hand side for Bayern, and Vincent Kompany's side certainly not at the moment finding their way to the round of 16. It's not going to be as simple as that for them on the night. Celtic are making a real nuisance of themselves tonight. Nicholas Kuhn, 3 goals in the Champions League this season, and the German scores in his home country against one of the biggest teams that he probably would have grown up watching and dreaming of playing for, and he plays against and scores against in one of the biggest stages in Europe. Surely a dream come true for Nicholas Kuhn in his home country. And Celtic winning the ball back well in midfield. McGregor. Trusty. Back to Schlupp. Gives it back to Trusty again. All 3 away sides leading tonight. 2 of our 3 ties still going this evening. As it stands, would be heading to extra time here in the Allianz Arena and in Lisbon as well, at the Estadio de Luz, where Benfica are trailing 2-1 to Monaco, but it is 2-2 in aggregate there. And at the moment, Bruges leading away at Atalanta would be going through as well. As Bayern get the ball back here. Elise finding Sane, well tracked by Dyson Maeda. Back round by Kimmich. Down the left-hand side comes Coman. Kingsley Coman in the box, cuts it back to Musiala. Trying to dribble to find a shot. Has to find Kimmich. He will again switch it out to Coman on the left side. All the bodies in the box for Celtic. Even Adamida's back as the shot from distance is right down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel again. This time from Kingsley Coman. Again, chops away from Nicholas Kuhn and just decides to unleash an effort. But again, straight down the throat of the Celtic keeper. And he will catch those all night long. Will Kasper Schmeichel. No shortage of experience, Kasper Schmeichel, 38 years old. The Dane has played in the Champions League one previous season, of course, when he was at Leicester, when Leicester were the reigning Premier League champions in the 2016-17 season. Of course, played in the knockouts of that competition. Leicester actually got all the way to the quarter-finals in that competition in that year. They actually were knocked out in the quarter-final stage by Atletico Madrid by 2-1. Atletico Madrid, who were knocked out in the semi-finals by Real Madrid, the eventual winners of that competition. So Kasper Schmeichel, his only other season in the Champions League was that one with Leicester. He carried them all the way to the quarter-finals. Could Celtic be heading for the same? Of course, they'll be heading to the round of 16 if they go through tonight. I said it. It's not been in a complete clean sweep, an easy night for Bayern. Far, far from it. As Nicholas Kuhn was down, and he's going to be coming off here, I believe. So the man who is the hero and the maker of dreams and the deliverer of dreams at the minute for Celtic is going to have to come off. Maybe got a bit too excited that he'd scored. Maybe pulled a muscle or a bit of cramp there for Nicholas Kuhn, but no risks taken by Brendan Rodgers. And coming on in his place was Yang Hyun-jun there. So Yang Hyun-jun, the 22-year-old Korean, on for Nicholas Kuhn. Has made 5 appearances in this year's Champions League. Just started one of those games. Did play in the Champions League, of course, with Celtic in the 23-24 campaign, and didn't score in that one either. Long ball over the top. Maeda! Oh, almost got something out of that. The Dyson Maeda. It's not only just a extra time Celtic are playing for here. They want to win it outright tonight. As they almost had an opportunity there to do so. Austin Trusty giving away the foul to Michael Olise. 20 minutes of normal time remain. As it stands, we'll be heading to extra time here in Munich, as there will be in Lisbon as it stands as well. At the moment, Atalanta would be absolutely desperate for extra time at this moment in time if they could get it. But they are good 3 goals down on aggregate at the moment, Atalanta. Free kick here to Bayern. Lise brought down there by Callum McGregor. So free kick to Bayern Munich. Joshua Kimmich over it. Tried to sneak one. Now he lifts it over the top. Could have left that one, but Adamida got involved. Put it out for a throw to Bayern. Taken quickly by Sane. Sane down the right side now. Up against Schlupp. Sane across. Arrowed it right across the 6-yard box. But no one there again, anticipating and poaching. And it was gone behind for a goal kick. Such a good ball as well. That's a ball that a striker would lap up all day long. But no Harry Kane in that sort of position. Bayern maybe starting to feel that at this minute in time. Well, they were beaten by Real Madrid in last season's semis. Bayern, the 6-time European champions, have reached the quarterfinals or better in 12 of the last 13 Champions League campaigns. The exception when they were knocked out by the eventual winners in 2019 when Liverpool knocked them out in the round of 16. But of course they're booking to try and get their place to even be knocked out at the round of 16 stage, because they're not cruising their way to that position at this stage of the at this moment in time. It's 2-2 in aggregate, and Celtic have looked almost perfect tonight. They probably could have had more goals if they were perfect. It's the only blemish upon Celtic's performance tonight, the fact they aren't further ahead, the chances they've created. Johnston's ball in behind for Ida. Nicely headed by Kim, away from danger. Goretzka on the right side. Here comes Sane, driving infield. Leroy Sane rolling it through. Musiala. Elise not getting a chance to shoot. But the referee sees no issue as Elise went down. Ball into the box. Diving header is wide from Leon Goretzka. Big chance for Bayern Munich there. Again, nice playing around the box. Elise wanted a penalty, as did all the Bayern players. Actually, I think one part of the crowd thought they were getting a penalty. And in the end, it was the referee just saying that he got the ball and not a penalty. And then the diving header from Leon Goretzka. What a chance to miss. What a chance to miss. Hit it well wide of the goal. Maybe. Don't want to say it yet, but maybe it's just not Bayern's night tonight. Of course, still a bit to go in the fact that still only 2-2 in aggregate, so extra time will be withstanding here at the end of the 90 minutes. And we still have a good 16 minutes of normal time to go anyway before any of that comes into the conversation. Still a lot of this game to be decided, and the next goal could decide the winner. The next goal more than likely would be the winning goal at this late stage of the tie. Sane running in behind. Schlupp disrupting him just enough to allow the clearance. And only as far as Joshua Kimmich, who will send it right back the way it came. Down the left it goes. Coman. Dribbling his way past Tati into the box. Coman's ball well overhit over the bar. Well, Bayern have won 24 of the last 29 home Champions League games. Drawn 4. The only loss, a 3-2 reverse to PSG in the 2020-21 quarter-final first leg. This season they have been beaten by Dinamo. They have beaten Dinamo Zagreb 9-2. Of course, the first time a team has scored 9 goals in a Champions League game in the competition's history. They beat Benfica and PSG both by 1-0, and Slovan Bratislava 3-1 here in Munich. Here's Leroy Sané. Stanisic. Now Kimmich. Plays it on to Upamecano. Back to Joshua Kimmich. Down the right side to Stanisic. Infield to Sané. Sané around the corner, finding Musiala on the turn. Back to Leroy Sané, trying to edge a shot. Sané! Completely misses the target again. That would have been a gorgeous goal if Leroy Sané had wrapped that one into the net. But he sends it flying wide. And another missed big chance for Bayern. How many do they want? How many are they going to need to try and find a goal tonight? Oh, kick by Schmeichel. Nice header on by Ida, but again, definitely taken down in the Bayern midfield there as Upamecano got a bit unnerved. Oh, no, well dealt with as Yang was on his back there. Bayern come away with it. Elise down the right to Sané again. Leroy Sané back to Michael Olise. Skips away from the challenge, but ends up getting taken out by Arne Engels anyway. And that will be a free kick to Bayern in a good area around about the edge of the D. This is might be a huge chance for them. Yeah, Olise just tried to skip his way past Engels. He did leave his leg there to be taken out. He was smart, Michael Olise. He knew he wasn't really going to get a shooting opportunity. And he did well in winning the free kick, which Kasper Schmeichel is setting up his defensive wall for here. Another goal to tell you about in Lisbon. It could be the winner, it could be the difference maker. It is an equaliser for Benfica, which as it stands on aggregate would send them through to the knockouts, to the round of 16. Vangelis Pavlidis with the penalty has levelled the game on the night, and really Monaco have 15 minutes to rescue their Champions League campaign. 3-2 on aggregate, 2-2 on the night. It looks like Benfica are going through. As it stands though, I'm going to go. Free kick to Bayern. Olise, who won it, is standing over it alongside Kimmich. Olise hits the wall. Back to Kimmich, who hits it. Deflection! Big save by Schmeichel. Still alive. Down the left, Coman. Across now. Kimmich, round the corner. Davies trying to get in behind. Well blocked by Celtic. Stanisic kept it alive. Now, Coman. Cut back from Alphonso Davies. And the sheer crowd of Celtic bodies clearing it away from danger. Just about. Musiala brings it down well. Dribbling his way through. Absolutely thumped by Callum McGregor as far away as he could get it. Well, Bayern have lost just one of their 28 UEFA ties in which they won the away first leg. Most recently, they beat PSG in the 2022-23 round of 16. 1-0 away from home in the first leg, and then won 2-0. Lost 2-0, in the home leg. Now that includes 3, where the away first leg finished 2-1. The last against Sevilla in the 2017-18 quarterfinals. They drew 0-0 at home in that one. Still progressed. Just over 10 minutes to go. We've talked a lot about Bayern. It's about time we talked a little bit about Celtic at this moment in time as Hatate bricks away. Does well down the right side here. McGregor back to Hatate. Well, Celtic have played a good 31 teams from Germany in the UEFA competition. They've lost 21 of those, won 5 and drawn 5. They have won not a single away game in Germany, of course, in the Champions League. As I said earlier, 15 previous games in the Champions League in Germany. 1-0, drawn 3 and lost 12. As it stands, this would actually go down as a win for Celtic in the fact that they're winning on the night, but of course drawing on aggregate. So this would register as their first win in Germany, albeit losing the tie, but winning the 90-minute game as it stands at the moment. But have never won in Germany against German opposition in the Champions League. They've already played 2 fixtures against German opponents in this season's competition. They lost 7-1 to Dortmund, and then, of course, a 3-1 home defeat of Leipzig as well. So, well accustomed to German opponents this season, albeit, as I said, same result against them, in the fact that they lost both games. But they did score in both games against German teams, and they've scored again against German opposition. But this time, it seems like, so far, they're keeping Bayern Munich out. Kimmich. Bayern still needing a goal here. Well, both sides, if they want to progress in 90 minutes, need a goal. Here late stage. A 1-0 win for Celtic would not be enough to see them through. It would be enough to get us to extra time here in Munich. Olise. Cross now to Guerrero. With the top round the corner here comes to Stanisic. Making the overlap and run. Ball into the box. Up in the air by Engels. And actually Carter Vickers got the last touch on that. Will be a Bayern corner. That will be corner number 5 for Bayern tonight. 4 previous corners. Also Kimmich has taken all of them. And he will take this one once again. Also Kimmich, left hand side, right footed in swinger. It will come in a moment when the referee sorts out 1 or 2 problems. Haven't mentioned the referee too much tonight. Referee Benoit Bastien of France has refereed 25 previous Champions League games. His last refereeing game in the Champions League was a 1-1 draw between Sporting and Bologna. Has had a lot of draws this season in the Champions League, Benoit Bastien. And those games he's refereed. Not that that's anything important, really. Corner for Bayern. Whipped in by Kimmich. Header brought down in the box. Well, scrunched away by Alistair Johnston. Not the most convincing of clearances, because here's the shot from distance from Davies. Headed away by Adam Ida in his own box there. And that's some convincing to head the ball away. Ball into the box again. This time well caught by Kasper Schmeichel. We will send Dyson Maeda on a run against Stanisic. And Stanisic gets the better of his man that time. Neuer into midfield. Another goal in Lisbon. It is a ding-dong battle between Benfica and Monaco. And this could be a huge goal. Monaco are back in front again and now back level on aggregates. 3-3 in aggregate in this second leg. And that one will be heading to extra time if it stays as it is. Monaco 3, Benfica 2 in Lisbon. 3-3 in aggregate. Still 3-1 to Bruges. I mean, if Atalanta find any way of getting through, that will be some miracle, but I think it might be done and dusted there. I think it was done and dusted at half-time. 3-1, it still remains to Bruges. 5-2 on aggregate for the visitors in Bergamo this evening. Lovely little touch from Alphonso Davies to take it round his man. Now charging forward. A little bit short on the back of the crossfield pass. Given away now to Yang. Although Yang can't really do very much in possession on that occasion. Stolen away from him by Musiala. Stanisic on the run. Blocked by Schlupp and cleared away by Trusty. And it is Celtic defending at the moment for their lives. Bayern trying to throw everything they've got at Celtic to try and win this inside 90 minutes. Nice run by Davies again. And Kingsley Coman seen out well by Alistair Johnston on that left hand side. Another Bayern corner. Another corner. Haven't really had much more time to talk about Celtic. Here's Kimmich with the ball. Looping one round the back. Headed behind by Yang at the back post for another corner. Yeah, Kingsley Coman was the threat. Had to be headed behind, and it was. Another corner to Bayern Munich. Again, Kimmich will take once more. It's third in the last couple of minutes. Kimmich, right-footed, another whipped one, headed on, and over the bar. That time by Stanisic. Yeah, it's a decent delivery by Joshua Kimmich, really nicely. And Stanisic, if he can just a little bit ahead of it and just loops off his head rather than headed down towards goal, and it just goes over the top of the crossbar and onto the roof of the net for a goal kick. The time is really diminished away. 3 minutes of normal time remaining, plus the additional time before possible extra time needed here in Munich to decide a winner. Unless Yang, Hattati, nice ball down the right side here. Whooping ball from Engels, far too much on it. Had a bit of promise there from Celtic, but that ball from Arne Engels was going absolutely nowhere but out for a goal kick. Neuer, again trying to get Bayern forward as quickly as possible. Switch ball out to Leroy Sané, headed down. Well, Celtic have never won in Germany, as I said, where they have lost their last 5 matches, and 10 of the last 12 here in Germany they have lost. So, certainly, as I said, it's been tough when Celtic have come to this area of the world. But tonight, a very different story, it seems, is unfolding. Kim, Davies. Back it goes to Joshua Kimmich. This is Celtic's first knockout tie since a 5-4 aggregate win over Stuttgart in the 2002-03 UEFA Cup 4th round, and they made their 2-legged record against Bundesliga clubs 2 wins and 5 losses when that happened. And they've only won 1 of the last 15 away European away games. Celtic lost 11 of those 15. This season they have gone down to Dortmund. Dortmund match day 2 before 0-0 draws at Europa League holders Atalanta, Dinamo Zagreb of course, and then that 4-2 match day 8 loss at Aston Villa as well as a number of their recent away defeats in Europe this season. But home and away, Celtic have won only 6 of the last 41 games in the Champions League proper, drawn 9 and lost 26, but 4 of the last 10, so a bit better form in that run of the last 10. It's the last couple of seconds, and we will have 4 added minutes at the end of the 90 here. 4 minutes for a winner for either 2 teams to be found. Can Celtic find a second to complete the comeback and complete the dream, or can Bayern, that shot from distance, or can Bayern get a levelling goal that would take them through to round of 16, or are we destined for extra time? At this minute in time, it seems like that's the most likely option, that we're destined for extra time, but you never know. Never know. Anything could still happen. One ball from Schmeichel. Trusty wins the second header, flicked on by Dyson Maida, but no one beyond him. Upamecano recycles, although given away cheaply. Yang tried to find Ida. Went down, not going to get the foul out of Ida. And Celtic have lost the first home leg of a UEFA tie 9 times previously, but have recovered to win only 1 against Dinamo Moskva in the 3rd qualifying round of the 2009-10 Champions League season. Lost 1-0 at home and won 2-0 away in that tie. Sané couldn't find a ball into the box, had to cut it back to Kimmich, gives it back to Leroy Sané. Now Olise lifts it into the box, away by Trusty. Upamecano brings it down. Olise again, recycles it wide to Stanisic. Ball into the box. Didn't get very far as it comes back at Upamecano again. Olise and Stanisic. Another goal in Lisbon to tell you about, and even more exciting at this moment in time. We'll get there in a second because Bayern are probing here. Kim. Down the left side for Coman. Up against Johnson, cuts inside. Coman's ball in the box. Comfortable for Schmeichel. Another goal in Lisbon. An absolute goal fest there this evening. I said it was a ding-dong battle. It certainly is. Benfica are level on the night again. And the dreams and hopes of Monaco could be dashed once again. They're into added time and normal time. But it is 4-3 to Benfica on aggregate. They've taken the lead once tonight. Haven't had the lead since. They've been clawing their way back. But even a draw tonight would be enough for Benfica to progress. As it would be for Bayern, who are pushing with just over a minute to go. Olise rolls it through. Couldn't find Sane. Falls to Stanisic. Still alive here. Goretzka. Coman. Well charged down. Still alive. Coman. Laying it off. Alphonso Davies with a cross. Takes a bit of a deflection. Awkward. Sane brings it down. Now Olise. Back wide to Leroy Sane. Sane to the byline. Tracked all the way. Not giving the timer space. Sane cuts it back to Olise, who whips it round the back. Header off the line. Oh, it's bundled in. Heartbreak for Celtic. But absolute delirium for Bayern. They try their hardest to clear their lines, Celtic. But they cannot keep it out. They fall to the ground in disbelief. But Bayern Munich have clawed it back. And it looks like they're heading to the round of 16. Last minute, indeed. They looked like it wasn't going to be their night, Bayern. In the fact they couldn't find the net. But it was always going to be the way that if they were, it wouldn't be the cleanest. It wouldn't have been the best. It was a scrappy one. A wonderful delivery by Olise. Headed on by Goretzka. Saved by Schmeichel. Makes a great save, but palmed it right back into the path of Alphonso Davies, who's waiting there. Carter Vickers tries his ever might to try and clear it out, but he couldn't. He couldn't get it out. And Alphonso Davies does enough to tap it home. And Alphonso Davies will go down as the hero for Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Incredible. There really isn't much time left now. 4 minutes up. Surely that is that. When this whistle goes to restart the game, there's not many seconds remaining. They make a late substitution, Bayern, as well. Thomas Müller is on, replacing Musiala. There's the kick from Schmeichel. Trying to rescue Celtic. But there is no time left. Bayern Munich have done it. They left it late. And they left it to the very death. But all that matters is they're through. Celtic played fabulously all the way through. But in the end, it's Alphonso Davies' goal that rescues a draw for Bayern on the night. But it ultimately sends them through to the round of 16. An unbelievable finish. Heartbreak for Celtic. Glory for Bayern Munich. And once again, Celtic beaten. But to no fault and to no avail of their own. They fought to the death. They gave their all. They gave their everything tonight, Celtic. You could see that. And when Nicholas couldn't find the nets, who they were dreaming, those travelling Celtic fans were dreaming of a wonder night in Munich. But in the end, it is a draw that was enough for Bayern Munich to progress. Celtic deserved some sort of recognition tonight because they were incredible. But in the end, it was a late winner on aggregate. A late equaliser on the night. That shows you how tight and close it was. Final score at the Allianz Arena in Munich. It is finished Bayern Munich 1, Celtic 1 on the night. Bayern win 3-2 on aggregate. And Bayern are through overall. Still alive in those other two games. We'll keep you till the games finish in those ones. Seconds remain in Bergamo and a minute or so left in Lisbon as it stands. So Feyenoord are through. Bayern are through to the round of 16. And we'll see who they will face in the round of 16, of course, on Friday, whenever we have the draw. Still going in those other two games, and we will await to see. At the moment, there will be out-and-out winners, so no extra time will be needed from any of our games tonight. If it stays as it is to the final whistle, Feyenoord through with a draw, Bayern through with a draw. Can Benfica follow suit, and can Club Brugge be the real story of the night, and the fact that they absolutely thumped the reigning Europa League champions? They have done that. Final score, it is finished in Bergamo this evening. Atalanta have been knocked out of the competition, and Bruges are through to the next round. Atalanta actually went down to 10 as well late in that one. Late in that game, Rafael Toloi with a red card, and that was really to be the icing on the cake, really, on a very torrid horror show for Atalanta there in Bergamo. They are out, and Bruges are through. Just waiting on that result between Benfica and AS Monaco. It is 3-3 on aggregate, 3-3 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate to Benfica in Lisbon, and the final whistle should be coming any second now to confirm that Benfica will be going through, unless there is some late drama still to come. It's been a ding-dong battle all night between the two teams. They've been fighting, battling. Monaco have never, at any point tonight, been going through after 90 minutes. The best they were getting was extra time from their two leads that they held. But the two equalisers in the second half from Benfica seemingly should be enough. Orkun Kochu with the third goal for Benfica, and that should be enough to send them through. We're still going in that game as we enter into the 9th minute of added time. 7 added minutes, and we're going into the 9th minute of those 7 added at this minute, waiting for that final whistle from the referee Glenn Nyberg to confirm that Benfica are going through. We're still waiting that final whistle. Two teams have already found their way through to the round of 16 by getting draws in Benfica and Feyenoord. Bayern Munich and Feyenoord, apologies. Can Benfica make themselves that next team into the round of 16? We're still going. Still going. I mean, we're still waiting on that final result in Lisbon to tell you about. But absolute heartbreak for Celtic, of course, as we told you. That late equaliser from Alphonso Davies was enough to send Bayern through on aggregate by 3-2 on aggregate after a great first leg and a great second leg. But in the end, it wasn't enough for Celtic to progress. They are still going between Benfica and Monaco. We'll quickly tell you what's to come tomorrow then. Borussia Dortmund take on Sporting. Juventus head to PSV. PSG take on Brest, and that old French tie, and that cracker, the tie of the round. The two biggest teams in the competition, the last two winners of this competition. One of them will not be progressing at the moment. Real Madrid, the reigning champions, have the advantage. 3-2 on aggregate heading into the second leg tomorrow night. Those 4 games, and it's done and dusted. All over. Benfica are going through to the round of 16. They were held to a draw on the night, but in the end, aggregate score was enough to see them through, and that's the confirmation then of all the teams through. Feyenoord, Bruges, Benfica, and Bayern Munich are all through. Let's see who they could possibly face. Bayern Munich could possibly face Bayer Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid. Bruges will face either Lille or Aston Villa. Benfica will face either Barcelona or Liverpool. And Feyenoord will face either Inter Milan or Arsenal. Right, to find out who will face who, we'll find out on Friday as the round of 16, quarterfinal and semi-final draws all take place on Friday to tell you the route to Munich. The road to Munich for the 2025 Champions League final will take place, the draw for all of those remaining knockout games, on Friday the 21st. That is this Friday, and we'll have all the details for you for that one. And then the round of 16 gets underway, the 4th and 5th of March for the first legs, and the 11th and 12th of March for the second legs. That's it, though, from us this evening. Great to have you with us, great to have your company. Bayern have done it. They left it late, but it was Canadian time for Alphonso Davies in Munich tonight. Night-night.